Hey guys, welcome back. Jim and Doug Show, episode number 40. It's a milestone, buddy.
Yes, celebrate the 40th show. Time goes by quick for sure.
So we got a lot to go over here. It's been a busy week in sports, so
yes. And then,
let's jump right on it. Why don't we start with college football, Ohio State, Michigan. What'd you think?
Yeah. I watched the whole game. I really thought it went a lot different than I thought it would go. I thought this would be finally the time that Michigan would really kind of exercise the demons and be able to come out there. I still stand by the fact that Michigan is the better team, but they just didn't play like that at all. And
what did I tell you about Harbaugh? He's 0-4 against Ohio State.
Yep.
Probably going to cost him his job. He's going to probably jump to the NFL. I'm guessing.
You think? It's definitely a possibility. I think it's 50-50 whether he's back in Ann Arbor next year. I think if he wants to stay, they won't fire him. I think he has brought the program back to the point where at least they're in the conversation, with the college football playoff, where, in the years past before him with Brady Hoke and those guys, Rich Rodriguez, they weren't really even in the conversation as far as the elite.
But they didn't have, he's got just as many wins against Ohio State as Brady Hoke did.
I agree. I just think that, if you look at the big picture of things, he's not doing that bad a job. He just needs to get over that hump and beat Ohio State, which he didn't do. And I don't want to give him any excuses on that because they had no excuse to play the way they played. 62-39. Ohio State pretty much did whatever they wanted to do on offense, which no one's been able to even come close to doing that against Michigan this year with their vaunted defense.
Ohio State gave him the in before the first half. They botched it and let him score 2 touchdowns, and he still couldn't bring it home. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Ohio State left the door wide open for them, and especially with the botched kickoff and everything. And Michigan had their chances, and their defense just all they had to do was play at least a little, at least play somewhat to what the back of their baseball card says, so to say. Their defense is always the one that will that's the best unit on the field at all times. Been the entire season, and they didn't show up at all. And
the ghost of Bo Schembechler is rolling over, going 0-4 against Ohio State, unacceptable.
Not good. And he only beat Michigan State like once, Harbaugh. So he hasn't even been able to beat Michigan State, let alone Ohio State. So
Michigan State barely squeaked by against Rutgers, of all things.
Rutgers played a good. And after that amazing game that Rutgers played, they decided to say they came out and said they're keeping the coach. So that one game was enough for them to give Chris Ash the job for 1 more year.
Well, that's going to knock Michigan out of the Final Four, and that's going to move Ohio State into it. I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think that
Georgia's the only one that could bump Ohio State out. I think at this point. Right?
Maybe Oklahoma. They don't play any defense though.
They give up 60 points a game. I don't think the networks want that kind of.
I'll say this though. I really would like to see Oklahoma and Alabama go head to head. I would like to watch that game because I think that would I know there wouldn't be a lot of defense played, but Oklahoma and Alabama, those are 2 offenses that could score 60 points any game. And I really would enjoy seeing that. So if Oklahoma does find their way in, that would be a hell of a game.
I know, but Alabama's not going to give up 60 points on defense. So
no, they won't. No. They won't. But they won't give up 60, but they could score right with Oklahoma, with Tua and all those guys they have over there, the receivers they have. It would be a high-scoring game that would be on center stage. So I would enjoy that. So I'm hoping Oklahoma gets in, but I think at this point, because Alabama obviously is going to play Georgia next week, so the winner of that will be in, and I think it's Ohio State has the 4th spot to lose. So
Alabama's going to be in either way. We know that.
Yeah, you're right. Georgia beating Alabama would probably be. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think even if Georgia gives Alabama a real close game, they could sneak in over OSU. I'm just saying.
With three I don't know about 3 losses over 1 loss. That would be 3 losses for Georgia. Oh no, 2 losses. Even so. I don't think, because they couldn't. 2 losses, and they lost to LSU, and LSU would have 2 losses. Oh, no, LSU has 3. I got to get my facts straight today.
Yeah,
LSU has 3. They're done. So Georgia has 1. Ohio State 1. Oklahoma 1. Yeah, I don't think a close loss would be enough to jump a blue blood like Ohio State or Oklahoma. If you're talking UCF,
I'm going to tell you. I mean, Harbaugh losing his 4th game against Ohio State could cost him his job, and he may jump ship beforehand. I'm just putting that out there before we move on.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What'd you think of that 7 overtime game? That was awesome, wasn't it?
I caught the end. I watched Notre Dame USC. I watched the whole game, so I didn't have that on. But I did, after the game was over, I clicked over, and it was, I think, the second overtime, so I watched the end. And it was that was something to behold. It was really, the college overtime can give you a lot of thrills. I think it gives you more thrills than the NFL.
I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome.
I think they should adopt that in the NFL going forward. I really do, because I hate to see all these ties. I'm just done with the ties. So I do like that. I think they should just have to go for 2 right off the bat, though. I think that kind of adds a little the rule where you have to go for 2 after the 3rd overtime. Let's make it the 1st overtime. Let's add the excitement right away, because it seems like they're kind of feeling each other out for the first 1 or 2 overtimes, and then it kind of moves forward to the craziness. So I loved it. I really liked watching that. That was a great game. I think it was the highest scoring game ever, and tied for the longest overtime game, right?
Oh, there was many facts that said, it was both teams scored 70, and it's the first time a team in the FBS ever lost a game scoring 70 points. It really was. It was almost like arena football at the end. It was getting so high scoring, but it was good. It was fun to watch, though. I definitely enjoyed it. So let's move on. So let's see. We got a lot going on in college football, and let's move on to the pros before we get to the big story of the week, which you know where I'm going with that. But
yeah,
let's talk about the NFL, and let's. The Giants, they finally, they packed it in, so they're done.
Yeah, right? Just skip over that.
Jets are done. Jets are done.
The Giants, I mean, I'll say one thing, Barkley was electric, and it's a shame they forgot that he was on the team in the second half. Because if they had gotten that win, I would have started to bleed. I would have. But they packed it in. I don't know what Sherman was doing with some of those play calls and taking Barkley out of the game. So I'll save it. I'll save my explanation for another day. I really don't even know what they were thinking there. Let's lend some credence to the fact that we talked about it, and I told you that Barkley. I know you wanted a quarterback, but I say we got a Hall of Famer on our hands, and you're right. I don't know what Sherman was thinking. This kid's he's a lightning rod, and they sat him down, or didn't give him the ball in the second half. They didn't give him the ball in the second half, and they even had a crucial series in the game. They had Gallman in right after the Phillies narrowed the lead to 5. It was important that the Giants answer, I thought, if they were going to try and beat the Eagles. And they had Gallman in the game.
Listen, Gallman's a good player, and he's done a good thing, but he's not Barkley. And if you're at the point where the season's on the line, I can understand week 1 or week 2, but what little of a season we had was on the line. I want Saquon in there. Of course, I don't understand it either. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, the guy that can break a 50-yard run or a 70-yard run at any time, needs to be in the game there. But now, did you watch the Pittsburgh Broncos game?
I did.
All of a sudden, the Broncos are kind of back in the playoff picture now. They played Pittsburgh real tough at home. I don't know what Roethlisberger was doing on that last play. The last play he just threw it to nobody, and if that lineman didn't pick it, the guy behind him was going to pick it. And so I don't understand why they couldn't. They're at the 1-yard line. Run the ball twice and see if you can score.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, why that happened too. But listen, I know Denver. 1 week they look ridiculous. The next week they look like world beaters. So we'll get to our picks in a minute, but I'm not ready to sign up for Denver going any place. But
the only reason I say that is because I looked ahead at their schedule, and they have I think aside from their last game, they have all cupcakes ahead of them. So So they have a chance to kind of all of a sudden catch fire, kind of like the Colts did. And I don't know if you want to talk about the Colts. Andrew Luck put on another show.
Hey, listen, I've been in his camp all year, and
fifth straight game with 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
So he's on fire right now, and the Colts are clicking on all cylinders. And I'll talk about them later in the picks segment, but they are really on fire, and they might run the table. Do you think they're going to catch Houston though?
I think they got a good chance of it. I do.
Yeah,
I really do.
The way that the schedule sets up, I know they got to play once more, because that was an instant classic the first time they played in overtime, and the Colts could have tied that game if they wanted, but their coach tried to play for the win instead of the tie, and they ended up backfiring, and it let Houston back. It pretty much saved Houston's season, because Houston at that point was 0-3, and it helped them. The Colts didn't get it going for it on 4th down. Houston was able to take advantage of the short field. I know this is back in week 4, but it saved Houston's season, getting their first win instead of 0-4. They were 1-3. All of a sudden, they catch fire after that, and now they're 7-3. Where I think if the Colts had made a different call in that game, the two have completely different seasons.
I know, and they went the complete opposite way. Jacksonville started out like a house on fire, and everyone was signed up for Bortles, and I go, you got to be kidding me. So they've tanked, and now Houston, they got a good team. And listen, I like Lamar Jackson as the option here. Let him give him the ball.
Oh, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore. Lamar Jackson. I mean
for Baltimore. I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Baltimore. I mean, they have put up points since his insertion in the offense, and I wasn't really sure if he was ready to be the starting quarterback. You can't deny the tools and the fact that someday he would be, because that the elusiveness that he possesses and the arm that he has, the ability to kind of just flick the ball 50 yards from his back foot. I mean, not every starting quarterback in the NFL has the talent that he has.
Look, and we know that's the way the NFL's gone. That type of quarterback starts to thrive in this league, and
it was only a matter of time until he got his shot, but I didn't think it would be this year, and I didn't think he would be that successful this fast. And he's a lot to deal with back there. So I actually don't.
But I think Flacco's on his way out. He seems to be injured and so forth, and he's had a good run. He's a good quarterback, but
I don't think he's going to get his job back. I think that's it. I think.
No, I agree.
I think Jackson's the guy from here on out. So I don't think he'll get his job back. Now, I hesitate to even mention this because it pains me, but I think that Dallas is going to run away with the division pretty soon.
Wow. Yeah, well, I think it's pretty wide open for them now. I mean, Philadelphia, I don't know. They could barely beat the Giants. They're not the team they were last year. We know that.
I'm not. I know Philly won against us yesterday, but I'm not sold on them doing. I think it was kind of ineptitude on the Giants' part that kind of handed them that game. And that defense is not going to travel. I mean, I think they play the Rams next or soon, and that I don't know. I think the Rams will score 60 on them pretty easily. So
listen, I agree with you 100% that Dallas is going to win the division, because with Smith going down, I like Colt McCoy a little bit, but not enough to bring him to the end zone kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He'll win a couple games. He'll make it interesting. Philly will hang around, but they're not going to beat any of the elite teams, or probably even Dallas, if, with the defense that they have right now. And I just think Dallas can probably cruise in with a 9-7 record and still win by a game or two. So
I think the only thing that can get in Dallas's way is Jason Garrett.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I mean, Jason Garrett, and look, they're about to take another loss, and I'm still saying this because they're playing New Orleans on Thursday, and they're not beating New Orleans. So
they're not.
They're about to take another loss, and I'm still saying that Dallas is going to win the game, probably by win the division, probably by a game or two. So I think that it's pretty. The Washington, we saw what we needed to see out of them. They gave a good fight, but they're not going to be able to climb past 8-8. I think Dallas will scratch off a 9-7 season, and that'll be the difference.
And I know, I think Green Bay is done, and I'm not like everyone else jumping on the bandwagon, writing Rodgers off. I just don't think they have the tools, and it shows week after week.
It's
Not even he can carry that team, you know.
It's everything besides him, in my opinion.
Exactly.
The coaching is not good. They have one good receiver. They do have a good running back, but the coaches refuse to give him the ball, so they don't lead on him. So it's everything besides Rodgers, and I think he's not going anywhere. But I think a change of scenery as far as coaching wise is pretty much needed for that team, and they need to flip the roster because they have a lot of deadly.
I wasn't big on that about getting rid of McCarthy, but I think it's going to happen. I think it's time for him. He had a great run, but him and Rodgers don't see eye to eye, and Rodgers is the head of that team, and it's either him or McCarthy, and it's going to be McCarthy. So
yeah, it ain't going to be Rodgers, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's for sure. So
real quick on one other guy, I know you're a big fan of this guy, and I told you all he does is put up numbers, but he put up big numbers, 25 for 25. Rivers.
Yes. I like him a lot, for sure. He's playing unreal football this year, and you can't deny it.
I know, but I'll talk to you after the first week. They get knocked out of the playoffs because that's what's going to happen.
All right, well, we'll see who they're going to have to play. I'll tell you this right now. If they're going against New England the way New England's playing, I'll take the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers in that game. I don't like what I see from New England at all. And I know they beat the Jets, but it was kind of like a ho-hum game where the Jets didn't even have Darnold in, so you knew they weren't going to win. But it was kind of a ho-hum game, kind of covered at the end. New England's going to get right, and I know they'll be around, but if they're going to
you want to take Rivers over Tom Brady, go for it.
It's not just those two against each other. I just think if you talk about supporting cast that the Chargers have right now and the way their defense is playing, as opposed to the Patriots defense, who's given up a lot of yards, I'll lean towards the Chargers in that game. So,
and look, I see the AFC is wide open compared to the NFC. I think NFC, we know it's probably New Orleans the way they're playing. I think the AFC is more wide open, and I'm not gonna abandon Tom Brady yet. So
I'm not abandoning him, but I'm just saying I wouldn't count out. I actually won't count out the Chargers like in years past I would have. I think they got a nice squad over there, and I'd like to, if they go against like Houston even first round, I could see them winning that game. So let's see the matchups to see how it plays out. Pittsburgh, they lost yesterday, but I wouldn't throw dirt on them yet either. So you're right, the AFC is wide open.
Yep.
As opposed to the NFC where it's the two, it's going to be one of the two top dogs because nobody's beating the Rams and nobody's beating the Saints besides each other.
Exactly. So it's going to be one of those. But like I said, if you want to put your chips on Rivers' side of the table, go ahead because he's had some good teams and he puts up big numbers. But when it comes crunch time, he hasn't proven he can win anything yet. So
agreed.
So let's cover our picks real quick. So last week again, Jim was 2 out of 3. The one I missed was who did I miss last week? I took Carolina, which I don't understand why I did. But I had Dallas and I had Indy, and I'm going to ride Indy until they prove me wrong. So.
Okay, and what was I?
I had Carolina over Seattle, and as much as I told you I like Russell Wilson, I'm just as down on Cam Newton, and he showed me why. He's not a big-time quarterback. So.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. Their defense should have been able to keep him under 27. Their defense should have been able to hold Wilson down under 27 points. So I won't blame Cam the whole time. I think he did enough to get the win. So what did I have?
So you had the Giants over Philly, which you're a homie, so I don't blame you for that. But
I covered the spread though. Remember, I picked the 7 points.
I told you these are win or loss things. These aren't spreads.
Yeah,
we're not having DraftKings and FanDuel.
I requested. It was out of a request from one of our listeners, so I did my picks with the spread.
All right.
So
we did have Chicago, and we both had Chicago, I think. So. And you had San Diego over Arizona, which is
3-0. 3-0 against the spread. Then, all right. Let's just remember that it was against the spread. Mike Garvey, shout out to our loyal listener, Mike. So I see you.
All right, so here's my 3 games for the week. And again, I'm not doing it with the spread. I'm not letting FanDuel drive this for me. But I got Denver at Cincinnati, and I know you're riding the Denver wave. And I don't understand Cincinnati. 1 week they're good, they're not. I think they can take care of Denver at home. So I'm taking Cincinnati. I got the Rams at Detroit, and I'm done putting my money on Stafford. So I like the Rams to continue on their roll on the way to meeting, hopefully, the Saints in the championship game. I hope that, I don't know how it lines up, but they're going to meet in the playoffs somewhere.
Oh yeah, it'll be the championship. They'll be the 1 and 2.
And I'm taking, like I said, Jacksonville. I have completely thrown them to the curb, and I like Luck. He's on a roll, and my 3rd game is Indy over Jacksonville on the road.
All right, so I'll start right there because I'm gonna mirror that. My first pick was Indy -3.5 against Jacksonville. So I'll stick with you on that, Indy and Jacksonville. The Sunday night game is a great game. It's the Chargers at Pittsburgh. So since my boy Phillip Rivers came up, I'll stick with him. They're getting 3.5 on the road at Pittsburgh. So Chargers, I'll take the Chargers at Pittsburgh.
Wow, on the road, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I like that game. And then I'm gonna zigzag back to Thursday night. So New Orleans is at Dallas on Thursday. New Orleans is favored by 7, so I love that. I'll give 7 points with the Saints all day. So give me New Orleans blowing out Dallas in Dallas. So I have 3 road teams: Chargers, Colts, and Saints.
Yeah, you're a road warrior here. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not taking the Giants this week against Chicago, so no pick.
No, well, there's no reason to take that game. It's meaningless, and they're not going to beat the Bears. The Bears need that game anyway. So
absolutely, you're right. You're 100% right.
No, we'll see.
Okay, so
let's move on real quick because I want to talk about high school football. Biggest game of the year in New Jersey was Saturday night, St. Joe's. Actually, it was in the Meadowlands, but it was hosted with a home team against Bergen Catholic. And I don't even know if you gave them a chance, but they pulled it off, 13-0, buddy.
Of course I gave them a chance. Of course I did. It was a match. Anybody could have won that game. It was a matchup of the century, like you said.
First time Bergen Catholic's been shut out in like 30 years. How about that?
Crazy. And now some of the defensive players, where anybody getting looks on that defense?
Oh, Howard Cross Jr. He's going to Notre Dame.
Really? What position? Defensive end?
Defensive end.
Great. Oh, that's great to hear. All right.
They got a handful of guys, and as we know, our previous guest, Luke Whippler, who played one hell of a game against Bergen Catholic Saturday night, and he warranted being a guest on our show. But what a game he played! The whole offensive line played a great game, but I watched him in particular because he was one of our guests. But what a great game he played! What a great game!
Friend of the program, Luke Whippler. So congrats to him on the win. So they beat. It was 13-0. They beat Bergen Catholic,
and that's going to propel them to number 1. It was number 1 Bergen versus 2 Joes, and Joes beat them. So